So I would love for you to share what does a day look like for you since you're a homeschool mom and working full time? How do you do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a schedule that's kind of a lot to keep up with. When I explain it to people, they're like, "Whoa, are you crazy?" So my older son is in 8th/9th grade now. So he kind of aged out of Thrive because he's doing by and large homeschool classes. But my younger son is still in Thrive, so he attends on Fridays. My older son goes to a supplemental program on Mondays.
Okay.
They go to their tutor's house Tuesday through Thursday. And then they're home one day a week, either Monday or Wednesday, depending on which child it is. And during that, I'm now working part-time for this tech startup. And then I teach Fridays at Thrive.
Right.
And I'm in grad school.
Hello and welcome to the Thrive Communities podcast, a place where real homeschool families share their stories and the heart behind their decision to educate at home. At Thrive Communities, our mission is to support and connect homeschool families in a community where children and parents can truly thrive. Whether you are new to homeschooling, considering it, or have been on the journey for years, we're so glad you're here.
Welcome to the Thrive Communities podcast. I'm Sophia Dashrup, and today we have Allison Foulk, one of our amazing Thrive teachers.
Hi.
All right. Hey, Allison. When I found out that it was you, I was so excited because I just got your first name for this. We go way back. I've had your kids at the Peoria location, and then you actually started teaching with me at that same location. So I'm so excited to have you on. So pumped to have you share your story because you have not only the Thrive mom story, but the Thrive teacher story too to share.
Yeah.
And then you're a homeschool mom. So let's have you just start by sharing how many years you've been homeschooling, what your journey's been like, and then just a little bit about your family.
Awesome. Yeah. So I have two boys. They're 12 and they're 14. And
they're awesome.
They are awesome. Shout out to Eli and Ian.
They're such cool kids.
But yeah, I've been homeschooling them since they were pretty much in kindergarten. We've had a few years of doing different things, but by and large, they have been homeschooled, or in my situation, I like to call it non-traditional schooling because I receive a lot of help to homeschool them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I have them do a kind of unique schedule where they're home one day a week. They go to a tutor/teacher's house 3 days a week, and then Thrive one day a week.
Awesome. What's your background? I know you have a unique background.
Yeah. So
weren't you on TV?
I am an actor.
Yes.
But that's mostly like a passion of mine. Currently, I am a director of content at a financial services startup. So I have worked mostly full-time the whole time my kids have been going through school.
And that's why you've had help.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I'm super excited to talk about that today, about how you don't have to be a full stay-at-home mom in order to still homeschool your kids.
It's amazing. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then what commercial were you in? I forgot.
Oh,
you guys have to hear this.
I don't know. What commercial?
Weren't you in a commercial?
I don't think so.
I thought you were in something on TV.
No, I mean, I do a lot of stage acting. So
Okay.
I do a lot of theater in the Phoenix area. I do like comedic roles, mostly like madcap comedies.
You're one of the favorite teachers because you were just always so fun and the kids just love you.
Thank you.
So you're working full time and when did you decide you were going to homeschool?
So with my older son, his dad struggled with dyslexia all throughout school. And it really created this feeling in him that he wasn't enough, that he wasn't worthy, that he wasn't capable of succeeding in a traditional schooling environment. And so with my older son, I just thought, I really don't want to set him up to fail. And I could tell he was struggling with reading when he was so young that I was like, I think it's just that I'm trying to get him to do this too soon. I want to give him a few extra years to developmentally, and he's a boy, so I wanted him to be able to be active, be playing, not be so focused on bookwork at such a young age. So I'm like, I'm just going to do this for a few years until I feel like developmentally he's ready to, be in a normal school setting. But we ended up loving it, and both of my kids love it. And about when my oldest son was probably in second grade, their dad and I got divorced, and I was like, okay, well, I can't homeschool anymore. Mm-hmm. So we had them go into a Montessori charter school for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And it was a good environment, but it really paled in comparison to homeschooling.
Right.
And I was like, there's got to be a way that I can do this. And so I'm a researcher. I was like diligently looking. I'm like, gonna find a program that works. We tried a few different things. And eventually that's how I found Thrive, was I just kept on looking. I was like, there has got to be some kind of support system for people like me who are passionate about their child's education, but also are working full time. And so I found a good solution.
I love that, because I think some of the hesitation with people I've talked to in the past or even seen online is they're like, how can I homeschool and work? I have to work.
Yeah.
And it's just not possible for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love for you to share what does a day look like for you, since you're a homeschool mom and working full time? How do you do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a schedule that's kind of a lot to keep up with. When I explain it to people, they're like, whoa, are you crazy? So my older son is in 8th/9th grade now. So he kind of aged out of Thrive because he's doing, by and large, homeschool classes. But my younger son is still in Thrive. So he attends on Fridays. My older son goes to a supplemental program on Mondays.
Okay.
They go to their tutor's house Tuesday through Thursday. And then they're home one day a week, either Monday or Wednesday, depending on which child it is. And during that, I'm now working part-time for this tech startup. And then I teach Fridays at Thrive.
Right.
And I'm in grad school.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What are you doing in grad school?
So I am studying at Gonzaga. I'm doing an organizational leadership program, and my focus is on servant leadership.
Well, that's amazing. So you're absolutely doing the most that you could do, as well as homeschooling.
It was like, what else can I add to my plate? I think I'll get my master's degree.
I love it. And you're still able to homeschool, and your
Yeah.
kids are thriving. And they're, like I said, I know your kids. They're amazing. And they're just some of the coolest boys I've ever met. They are so helpful and just caring and, so into the lessons at Thrive. So testament to what you're doing with them.
Aw, thank you.
So you get to be on both sides of it, being a mom and with Thrive, and then being a teacher with Thrive.
Yeah.
What are some of the coolest things that you've seen being a part of this community for yourself or for the boys?
It's been really awesome to see my boys have this community because we've been attending Thrive for years now. And then me, on the flip side, getting to teach. Like, it is my one day a week to play, literally. That's what I say to all the other teachers. I'm like, this is my play day. Like, I get to come, I get to sing, I get to do silly voices, I get to be a kid, I get to sit on the floor, throw a ball. It's such a break for me, given like the kind of heavy ownership of my other roles in life, that I just adore it. And I love getting to see my kids in this environment where they're happy, they're not stressed out. They are just very comfortable and thriving. And it's awesome to see the fun for me, but also the fun for them being in this environment and learning. And that is one of my main tenets of education, is it should be fun, right? It should ignite passion within you. And the environment that they're in now, I feel like, does that for them.
I love that. And it's cool because you're teaching and you get to see it for all kinds of kids too. Mm-hmm. Different kids from different educational backgrounds are just having the best time at Thrive. Yeah. I think education isn't necessarily considered fun, but as a homeschool family, we can make it fun for them, and they can just have a blast.
Yeah.
Since your boys have been a part of Thrive, have you seen any changes in them because of it?
Yeah, I think that one thing is they've been exposed to some different like materials than they normally would be exposed to in terms of like art, for example. My younger son, Ian, he really loves art. That's his favorite subject.
I remember.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is so bizarre because at home, like, he is not an artist. He doesn't gravitate toward that. But every single Friday when we're driving home, I'm like, what was your favorite subject today? He's like, art. I'm like, wow, because he's a very like math, science kind of kid. And I'm like, I love that he gets to do this consistently. Yeah. It's not just something that I'm like making him do for a few months or a few weeks. He's now been doing it for years and he loves it. And he even like integrates it into our conversations at home. He'll be talking about some artist that I need to look up. I'm like, wow, you really love this. And so that's been great. The friends have been great. They've really developed some good friends that we have this cute little group. We go to the park. We do birthday parties. And that's something that's actually developed this year. And I just love seeing the opportunities they have to have a family kind of environment while learning.
Right. And building community.
Community.
Sometimes with homeschooling, it can be a little bit, daunting to make friends because you're not seeing people consistently. So it's good for parents and kids to build those friend groups and communities. How do you feel about your teaching community now that you're a part of Thrive on the teaching side?
It's really, really fun. Since I teach on Fridays, we call it Fri-yay.
Yeah, I know.
It's like very cheesy, but also
shout out to Danny.
Danny. But I love the teaching community too. It feels like a group of friends that I have, and we are all passionate about education. But we have our own philosophies and approaches that we bring to it. We have our own family systems and structures. And so we get to be passionate and bring that, but we can do it in our own ways, which is the freedom of homeschooling. And it's the freedom, like, as a teacher, we're given the materials, we all are teaching the same thing, but we get to bring our own insights and our own intelligence to it.
And put your little spin on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And make it really fun for the kids.
Right.
And like I said earlier, you're one of the funnest teachers. I make learning so cool for the kids. I can always hear them laughing and stuff when I was program lead with you. Sitting here, it just made me think of why I brought you onto this teaching staff when you came and met with me. And it's like so much love for kids and so much passion for helping kiddos in education. And if we think about a lot of the staff and the team that's with Thrive, just like love kids so much and just want to help them make a difference. So I look at you and it just reminded me of that because you're so awesome too. And you were phenomenal teacher.
It's really funny because actually when I got my job at the startup, since it's part-time right now because we're a startup, so you have limited funds, but I was talking to them and they were like, okay, what's your schedule? What's your availability? It's like, well, I would prefer not to work here on Fridays because I teach at a micro school. They're like, the founders are like, wait, what's a micro school? What do you teach? I'm like, I teach literature, and it's really amazing. It's my one day to go and play and have fun with kids. And they're like, awesome, let's make that happen for you. So, even like as I scale up, as the company scales up, they're like, yeah, you're good. You could always teach Fridays. And I think it's perfect.
Your little passion project on the side to
exactly.
add to your huge list of things that you're doing. You're amazing.
But it's so fun because like scheduling meetings and stuff, they're like, oh, Allison can't do that. She teaches at a school with a bunch of little kids that are homeschooled. And I'm like, you guys got it.
Nailed
you know
it.
what you're talking about.
Sign up for your kids.
Yeah.
So now that you've been homeschooling and you've kind of, dabbled in regular schooling and homeschooling and working at the same time, what advice would you give a parent who is working full-time and who's like, I'd love to try to homeschool my kids?
Yeah, I love that question because I talk to people all the time who are in that situation. Particularly like me, I'm a single mom, right? So there's an additional weight of having to navigate that. And I think the thing that I would say is it is possible. And I think there are so many creative ways that we can approach education. That's why I say I do non-traditional schooling. Is that we have the ability to bring in other people to support us. The person who is the tutor for my boys, who they've been going to her house for 4 years now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Tuesday through Thursday, 9 to 2. And they have a little group there. It's 6 boys. And so that is a community for them. Thrive is a community for them. I don't have to do everything.
Yeah.
Right? And I think as a parent, you think, oh, I'm homeschooling. I have to do everything. And that's not the case. You have to do what works for you as a person and what helps your kids be successful. And so I've looked at a lot of different options for them and ended up with something that works really, really well for our family while I can still have my career, pursue my passions in education. Like, I love that they see I'm getting my master's degree too. Because it's like, this is not only important for you as 6th and 8th graders, but it's going to be important throughout your whole life to pursue education and pursue your passions.
Yeah.
So we get to walk this journey alongside each other. And one of my favorite things about homeschooling is they get to learn with me. I get to learn with them, but they get to learn with me too. Like, they are, I'm having them watch shows that I have to watch for my master's degree.
Oh, that's cool.
When I need to learn things, I'm integrating them into those conversations. And so I want them to think about that as a model for their whole life.
I love that.
Learning is something you do till the day you die. and you might as well make it fun and be passionate about it.
I love that, because I think if you think of traditional homeschooling, it's like the teacher knows everything and you're going to learn everything from the teacher who knows the most,
Right.
you know? And in homeschooling, it's like us as parents are learning at the same time as them.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't remember what I was teaching my son in math, and I was like, I don't remember learning this in school.
Yeah.
Like I'm relearning all of these things because nothing's stuck in my brain.
Right.
I'm a public school kid. Were
Yeah.
you as well?
Yeah, I was public school too.
I'm like, I don't remember learning about any of this stuff. So, but kids are helping me.
I know my boys are both already like far outpaced me in many subjects.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm teaching them how to learn and how to be passionate about it. And one thing that I love too is that they've been able, because we homeschool, to do a lot more with me in terms of travel. I used to have a very, very travel heavy job. And so think outside the box, I think I would say, because as a single mom with a full-time job at the time, I could have been like, well, I can't homeschool because I'm traveling once a month for sometimes up to a week. And I sat with that, and then I thought, wait, what if they came with me? I homeschool. I can do what I want, right?
Oh, that's amazing.
And so I took them with me on work trips, and they would be in my hotel, and I would find like camps that they could go to during the day. For example, we went to Park City, and while I was running this week-long event, they went to an extreme sports camp.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Right? What kid wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah. And they just go with you.
Yes. Yeah.
You really did think out of the box.
Yeah.
I was like wondering how you would have done that.
Mm-hmm. And you know, it didn't always work, right? Sometimes it didn't line up, but I homeschool because I want them to be able to have freedom, and I want to have that freedom. And so if that means I have a work trip and they come with me and they get to do something amazing that they wouldn't normally get to do, and I get to do what I need to do to provide for our family, then that's a win-win.
That's incredible. I hope anybody who's listening who maybe is like unsure about making it work, that those are all great ideas. And then you can do it however you want to do it, because homeschooling's flexible.
Right.
You know, and there's not a timeline and a schedule per se. You can just make it work with your own schedule.
And maybe it's, you know, instead of them going with you, maybe that's more time they get to spend with family. And family is so important. As I've been doing this, I was also caretaking my parents, and they both passed away in the last 3 years.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And having more time with family, I think, is one of the most critical components of homeschooling. Like, they got to, for a period, my parents were living with us, and my boys got to spend a little bit more time with them than if they had been gone every day. And so I think that that's, you know, the freedom and the luxury we have, and that's the reason why a lot of us homeschool too, is like, we want to spend time with our kids. We want our kids to be around our family. So that environment and those choices that you make as you homeschool can allow you to be able to do that more.
That's so true. And, you know, life is so short. Our kids grow up so fast. We lose all that time with them when they're not with us. Yeah. And then blink of an eye, they're moving out. I think that's so true.
Don't make me sad.
I know, because your boys are getting there.
Yeah.
How old is Eli?
He will be 15 this summer.
Gosh, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like he sprouted up in front of before my eyes.
Like a man.
I know. I know, he really is. When you made the step into homeschooling, was your close circle supportive of that?
You know, initially I had some questions like, what about socialization? Which is, you know, probably the number one question
really
that homeschool parents get.
It's like getting old.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys. But I did have some people that were a little curious, and they're like, that's a little weird. That's an interesting choice. At the time, we were living in Texas, and then we moved here a few years later. And I think that, you know, there were some questions. I think I was one of the first people in my friend group to start homeschooling.
Okay. So you led the way.
And they were a bit like, oh, that's Allie. She's crazy. She's doing her own thing anyway. But I think as they've seen it, it's been something that's been really neat. And I have more friends that are homeschooling now, not because of me, I'm sure, but just because of the environment that we're in, and, you know, the school system we're in, and the type of moms and parents we want to be. It doesn't always align. And I really am a firm advocate of doing what works for you and having the autonomy to do what works for your family.
Yeah, and being able to have that choice.
Yeah.
Not being forced into choices for our kids, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that is so true to think about. You know, we get to decide what our kids are learning, and we get to decide how they learn and how they feel about learning and how they feel about themselves and who they are.
Right.
So having support too, I think is really lucky, because I think you hear a lot of families too who aren't supported in that journey. You know, they're trying to step into homeschooling and they're getting a lot of heat about it. What would you tell a family who's maybe nervous about stepping into homeschooling, taking the first step?
Yeah, I think it's okay to be nervous. I think it's okay to have some apprehensions or be worried about it. But you know, no decision is forever, right? Just try it. See what works for you. See how your kids do. Teaching the older kids, I love older kids. They're kind of my favorite. Don't tell the other ages. Yeah. But like I sit with them at lunch sometimes and I'm like, okay, how many of you, went to a public school or went to a charter school, and how do you like homeschooling, and what do you feel about the changes and the growth that you've had? Like, I just ask them questions, and I love hearing their experiences. And so I think letting our children's experiences and their opinions weigh strongly in what we do as parents.
Yeah.
If they're not succeeding in their current environment, and if you're not enjoying them being in their current environment, like, it shouldn't be torture, right? We get one life. We might as well make choices that work for us. And if you do it for a year, you're like, oh, I'm not quite so sure. Well, maybe look at other ways you could be supported in your homeschool journey. Is it that maybe they go to their grandmother's house like 2 times a week and she teaches them 2 subjects? Or they go to Thrive one day a week, or their dad does something with them one day a week. Like, there's so much flexibility that I think just figuring out what is working well is totally doable. And it should be something that, you feel nervous, but you also feel a little excited. Like,
something new.
Yeah.
Especially if you're getting out of a situation, like you said, that's torturous.
Right.
It's like, try something new. It is for some families.
It can be.
It is for some families.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you sharing all of this so much. It's so saturated in the homeschool community now. You even said yourself, people are stepping into it a little bit more quickly and a little easier now. It's not as, like taboo to step into homeschooling. So with all of the mainstreamness and the options you had, it sounded like you did a lot of research. You were trying to decide what was going to work for you. What drew you to Thrive? What was like, oh, I'm going to bring my kids here?
Yeah. It's funny because in my mind, I knew there had to be something like Thrive because there was a need. I knew how much I needed it. But I looked for a solution literally for years before Thrive started. And we had found a few different things, but they were never really the right fit because they were more curriculum-based. And I didn't feel like my kids needed support with curriculum. Like, they've got that covered. Yeah. I wanted them to have community, as you said, and socialization, which is obviously important. Right. And so I just kept looking. Like, literally every 3 to 4 months, I was like, I'm going to do a robust Google deep dive. This was before AI. So I was like on there looking, clicking, like, oh, is there any good options? And I remember finding Thrive's website and I was like, this looks really good. Yeah. And I scheduled a tour. I maybe walked through with you.
You might have been.
I don't even remember. Everything's a blur. But yeah, I had the opportunity to find Thrive and I was like, this looks so good. I remember attending like the virtual session about it and just feeling like, yep, this is a great solution and it's going to supplement what we're already doing and provide community, which is so, so important because we all need a community.
Yeah, we do. And then that drop-off piece, I think, for some homeschool parents, is very unique for them too.
Yes.
Because they don't necessarily get that.
That's so true. That was a lot of the conflict for me while I was working full-time, was that there were a fair amount of programs, but they were all like co-op type programs where you had to stay, you had to teach, and I was like, nope, can't do that. And so this was perfect.
I love that. The last question I'm going to ask you, and I always like to hear this because I think, I homeschooled for 11 years, and there's things I would change and maybe adjust or give myself grace for. Mm-hmm. Is there something that you have learned in your homeschool journey that you wish you would have known sooner, or that you would have told yourself back when you started?
I think I would have given myself even more time away. And I feel like I'm telling myself this right now. I feel like I would have taken more time off of work to do a few more things with my kids that were totally enriching to their lives. And so like maybe it's taking them, out of Thrive, out of their tutor for a week, and just being like, let's go do something educational, the three of us. And I don't get an opportunity to do that a lot, so that's why I cherish it so much when I do.
Yeah.
But the experiences and the type of education I want them to have is such a hands-on education where they're not learning about something exclusively from a book, but they're being there in person. And one of the components of homeschooling and of being at Thrive is you can just say like, hey, I'm going to go do this with my kids for the day, and we'll be back next week, and it'll be awesome.
Not tracking attendance. You guys can go.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think taking advantage of those opportunities, maybe that's something I can do more moving forward. But it's really neat. As my older son is getting into high school, I'm seeing him appreciate his education.
That's great.
Even this year, he's like, hey, do you want to try your public school? Because I don't want you to not have that experience if you want it.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that? He's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, are you sure? Like, it might be you'll be around some of your friends. Like, would you like to do that? And he's like, no, I really love what I'm doing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And
that's got to make you feel good.
Yes. To have had this fear with him when he was young that he wouldn't have a positive learning journey, and to see him now where he's confident, he's happy, he's smart, he's very social, he's capable of interacting in the real world.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, go do this, go do that. And he's like, okay, like he is going to be a great member of society, and he's going to have the confidence and the skill set he needs to do that. And he knows it.
Yeah.
And
he's
I'm
that
like,
confident.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And so, if he doesn't need to have that experience, all the better, because I love what we're doing,
You love being with him.
Yeah. So it's awesome to see your kids be successful in what you're doing.
I hope everyone hears that, because I think that's what everyone cares about when they decide in homeschooling. It's just the best choice. And you're someone who's done it, and you have a kid who's making his own choices now too, and he wants to stay homeschooling because he loves it.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. We do have to end with you doing an accent.
Oh.
You have to say, welcome to the Thrive Homeschool Podcast in one of your best accents.
Okay.
Guys,
Let's
this
see.
is a treat.
What I do with the kids is every different page I read, I let them say a different accent. And some of them I'm really good at, and others it's like
I've heard a couple
pure
of them. You're pretty
torture.
good. You're
So
pretty
I'm
good.
going to do one that I'm good at. Welcome to the Thrive Podcast.
Yes.
All right. Welcome to the Thrive Podcast.
Yeah, you're amazing. Allison, you're so cool. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I loved getting to know you even more. You're
Yeah.
such an awesome person. We love having you at Thrive.
Oh, thank you. So happy to be here. Love teaching and love being a homeschooling mom.
You're the best.
If this episode encouraged you, share it with another family who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We'll see you next time.